Hi, I'm Katie Farrell with Dashing Dish. Today I'm going to teach you a quick and easy swap out for pasta. So today we're going to make spaghetti squash Alfredo. Now it's not that pasta is bad for you. I mean, I enjoy pasta from time to time, but it's something that I like to have in moderation. There are definitely healthier options of pasta out there today, such as quinoa pasta. So that's actually made out of quinoa and it's just made into noodles, or even whole grain pasta. But today I'm going to do something a little more fun and nutritious, which is making pasta out of vegetables. So here today I'm going to use a spaghetti squash. And you know, a lot of people are intimidated by spaghetti squash, I think. You look at it and you look at it in the grocery store and you think, that looks hard and big, and what do I do with that? And so the quickest and easiest way to kind of learn how to experiment with the spaghetti squash, in my opinion, is just to pop it in the microwave. So what I do is I take a spaghetti squash, and this is just half of the squash here. So if you had the whole one, it would be kind of round, and just pierce it with a fork or a knife a few times, put it in the microwave for about 5 to 10 minutes, and it will kind of steam from the inside out. And that way, you pull it right out of the microwave, 5 to 10 minutes, and you have it ready. So I take it, put it on a cutting board when it cools, because it is pretty hot when you take it out, and then cut it in half lengthwise. When you do that, it's so easy to cut. It's not hard and, you know, kind of intimidating because it's nice and soft. And then what happens when you open it up is it looks like this, spaghetti. So you can see there's kind of strands of noodles here. And there are seeds, so I just scrape out the seeds, very easy to do. And then you have all the noodles. So we're going to take this and we're actually going to use the actual spaghetti squash as kind of like our bowl in this recipe. So we're not going to discard it, but you could, you know, take the noodles, so to speak, out, put them in a bowl, and then discard the actual squash. So we'll take this and we will scrape out all the noodles, put them in a bowl. And I love to use any type of vegetable that I can find to replace pasta in recipes. One of my favorite recipes is a zucchini lasagna. And I actually, instead of using pasta, I don't use any pasta at all. I just take zucchini, cut them lengthwise, really thin, and then lay them down instead of the pasta in the recipe. And so it's a really great way to kind of get your family to get their vegetables in, and it's a nice, healthy comfort food without really feeling like, okay, I'm eating my vegetables. So to this, we're gonna add, this would be the Alfredo sauce. We're going to add some low-fat cottage cheese, but you could use whole fat as well. And cottage cheese might seem like something that's a little weird to add to Alfredo sauce, but actually you won't even know that it's in there. If you don't like cottage cheese because the texture, it just kind of melts all together and you won't even taste it, but it gives it that salty creaminess that you're looking for in the sauce. And then we have some Greek yogurt, and I'm doing about a half cup of the cottage cheese and a half cup of Greek yogurt. You stir this together. Now, you'll see that I only did half of a very large spaghetti squash for this recipe, but you could do a smaller squash and do both halves. And then we have some shredded mozzarella cheese, and that's about a third or a 3/4 of a cup. And then we have our seasonings and also some Parmesan cheese and some almond milk. So for the seasonings, we have some pepper, that's really to taste, so just a pinch. Garlic powder, which adds a lot of flavor without adding any calories. And that's about a half teaspoon of garlic powder. And we'll kind of get this stirred together. And you might notice that it's pretty thick here. And so really to help it kind of thin out a little bit is the almond milk. So I use unsweetened almond milk in a lot of my recipes because it's actually good for you because it has 30 calories per one cup. And so if you use skim milk or low-fat milk, it has anywhere from about 120 calories for a cup, all the way up to, if you do a higher fat milk, up to almost 200 calories per cup. So you can see there's a huge difference in calories. And calories themselves are not bad, but you know, if you can pick something that's a little bit lower in calories, that's usually a better option. And so the almond milk, you just need a little bit to kind of thin it out here. And you can see how that's coming together. It's looking creamy and cheesy. And then we're gonna add some Parmesan cheese. And I love Parmesan cheese because you only need a little bit, and a little goes a long way. It's very full of flavor, very rich flavors and salty, so it brings the cheese sauce together nicely. So once you stir that all together, then it's really simple. I have my squash here in a baking dish, and you can just pop it right in the oven that way. So I'm just going to pour this back into the squash. And yes, you can bake it right in the half of the spaghetti squash, just like this. And you could split this between family members, or you could eat the whole thing by yourself, depending on your appetite. So then you could top this with some additional Parmesan cheese or some mozzarella cheese if you desire. And I always like to sprinkle a little bit of dried parsley on top as well. So as you can see, this is a really delicious and easy way to get your vegetables in. And instead of using heavy pasta or heavy cheese sauce for Alfredo, this is a much better option. Cottage cheese and Greek yogurt are also great because they're high in protein, low in fat, low in calories, and so they really help satisfy you. So this dish overall is packed with nutrition, packed with protein and fiber, so it'll leave you feeling really satisfied, but not weighed down. So what you want to do is you want to bake it for about 15 to 20 minutes just to kind of melt the cheese on top and warm the sauce through at 425 degrees, and this is what it'll look like when it's done. And when you go to kind of bite into it, it's delicious because it's just like strands of spaghetti with some Alfredo sauce. So I hope that this was really a great lesson on how to use any kind of vegetable as a swap out for pasta, and that you enjoy this recipe and that it refreshes your body and soul. I'll see you next time.